In this video, I'm going to summarize Quackity's Lost Nevada's lore stream. We'll go over all the main points, some things you may have missed, plus some theories and predictions for future streams. Let's begin. Wait, before we begin, please consider subscribing. This is my first video and it would really mean the world to me. Thank you. Now let's start. The stream begins with a recap of the fight between Technoblade and Quackity, and a time-lapse of the casino being built, along with some music in the background. Quackity's voice is heard over the music saying,
"Let's start this hit list. Who's on the hit list? Dream and Technoblade. If we go after Dream first, we'll have government, and then Techno will go after us."
Then it cuts to Lost Nevada's episode 3, the background being Pandora's Vault. This meaning that Quackity is headed to Dream first, and it cuts to Quackity's POV in the prison with Dream. First, they have a little playground fight over the netherite axe, then Quackity tells him that he's visiting the prison every day to remind Dream of what he did and who he hurt. Well, that got dark. Well, anyway, Quackity brings up the question,
"When's the last time you've seen Technoblade?"
Dream answers saying he hasn't seen Technoblade since before prison, and Quackity tells him to write a letter addressed to Technoblade. Dream denies at first, but Quackity replies with a good ol'
"You either write that note, or I will kill you."
as best friends do. So, Dream agrees and Quackity begins to tell him what to write. The scene ends with Quackity saying, "Dear Technoblade," and then it fades into darkness. Then it flashes to Chapter 1 over a dark and rainy background, and soon a peaceful village is revealed. And, don't get attached. Messages begin to show up on screen saying easy job, no innocence, big reward, easy money, peaceful heist. Then Foolish is shown, holding a totem, a bow, and an arrow, shooting directly into the village. The screen turns to a shot of the peaceful village now burning down, which there's many theories going around how it may have been George Not Found's town he abandoned, or the village from Carl Jacobs' Tales of the SMP, The Village Gone Mad Twitch stream. But no one knows for sure, so it might just be a random village. The town was covered in fire and lava, accompanied by screams, thanks to Mr. Foolish right here, who's now riding away on horseback into the fog. The message, peaceful heist, is now on screen, which is just... what? But as Foolish disappears into the darkness, it's interrupted by an alarm clock, and a new reveal of the restaurant in front of Quackity's Lost Nevada's casino. Quackity and Awesome Dude are revealed to be arguing in the restaurant, and Quackity hands Awesome Dude a book of people who he wants to hire. Awesome Dude jokes about hiring George Not Found, Carl, and Sapnap, but Quackity gets mad, revealing that something happened between them. Quackity tells Awesome Dude that he wants to hire Foolish, but Sam says that Foolish has a heavy past and he's a hot-headed guy, talking about some old text he read of him, supposedly burning down a village, a callback to the peaceful heist. But Quackity ignores him and goes to hire Foolish anyway. He shows up at the desert lot and invites Foolish to join Lost Nevadas, but Foolish declines. Foolish brings up how he used to build for Kanoko Kingdom, which makes Quackity nervous, but he says he's no longer associated. This is the beginning of Quackity's manipulative arc, so be warned. Quackity says Foolish is wasting his life away on building, placing the worth of the desert temple at 1 diamond, and Quackity reveals that he let Foolish die so he could understand he was wasting his life. Foolish compares Quackity to Wilbur Soot, Dream, and Jschlet, but Quackity leaves, telling him he knows where to find him. Pause. It's revealed in Foolish's stream later that he visited Lost Nevadas and he said he's there to stay, but it might only be for a little bit. The screen fades into the roof of Quackity's Lost Nevadas, and a dark figure is revealed to be hopping around the roofs with an elytra, which he's suspected to have gotten from gambling with Dream XD. The dark figure, which we find out to be Quackity, enters the restaurant, and he begins placing TNT before he spots a slime block in the wall. On his way to mine it, he says,
This is exactly why he's gonna die.
We don't know who he is yet, but it may be predicted to be one of his previous fiancés, George Not Found, Carl Jacobs, or Sapnap. Quackity begins to approach the slime block before Slime Skull appears in its spot, and Quackity attacks him until the screen fades away. The screen fades back, and Quackity has placed Slime Skull in a hole, and he begins interrogating, finding out that he's been accidentally spying, revealing that Wilbur is alive, and Quackity decides to keep Slime Skull alive for his advantage, even referring to him as a friend. Then, there's a flashback. 1 week before the Red Banquet, Quackity breaks into Purple's UFO and places TNT to get Purple's attention, and sure enough, Purple spawns in, threatening to attack him before Quackity says,
"I got flint and steel and I'm gonna blow the place up, okay?"
Purple gives in and agrees to help Quackity destroy the egg for a large payment. It flashes back to the fight in the egg room before turning to Quackity's POV in a flower shop. Purple receives his payment from the chest, and Quackity presses a lever, exploding Purple's UFO in the distance. Don't ask me how that worked, I don't know. Quackity runs from Purple, who is now chasing him until he gets cornered. Yours truly, Toxic Quackity, comes back to tell Purple that he is nothing, and if he joins Lost Nevadas, he can become something. He can invest his payment and be part of the casino, or he can hide away again. Purple runs back to his UFO and the screen darkens again, not revealing his decision. Now, a fun DPOV. Fundy is revealed to have moved to a forest alone in a cabin with boarded up windows. The scene takes place when Funny decides to finally go to sleep, and when he wakes up, his house is moved a bit, specifically to the middle of the desert, and he finds Quackity on his doorstep. This part is one of my favorites. The builds are amazing, so if you haven't yet, I recommend watching the stream to support him. Quackity brings him along and tours him to a recreation of L'Manberg in the desert, slowly destroyed by time. Quackity relives the memories with him until he stops in front of an old tower and tells Funny that if he doesn't join Las Nevadas, he will amount to nothing. He slowly backs away from Fundy into the shadow of the building, giving him 10 seconds to join, and let me just say, horrifying.
3, 2,
Fundy wakes up thinking it was all a dream and sees Quackity outside of his door. The point of view changes to Wilbur Soot. I know there's a lot of POVs, stay with me here. Wilbur tells someone that he only briefly read it. We don't know who he's talking to, presumably just his chat, and he goes back to the graves chest labeled For Wilbur, and picks out the book labeled Project Nevadas, published by Quackity. Wilbur opens the book, revealing its one page, and read it.
My dearest friend Wilbur, you were right all along, and I won't make the same mistakes twice.
The screen goes black, then reveals the Las Nevadas sign and Wilbur Soot's character walking up to it. Wilbur begins walking down the path until he meets eyes with Quackity, and he stops. And the stream ends, revealing the director of it all. So, in summary, Quackity spoke to and possibly recruited Foolish, Slimeskull, Purpled, and Wilbur Soot for a new Las Nevadas casino. Quackity got Dream to write Technoblade a letter, and we discussed some extra theories. But that's all for this video. Tell me if there's any other summaries you'd like to see, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.